Anyway, hello and welcome to another episode of Media
Is
Munchers. Is it?
is it?
We'll
I
get
don't know.
we'll get to that. I'm Matthew,
And I'm Adrian.
and we got a couple things to talk about today. We got some news. We got some Batman 2 news. We got Spider-Man gets canceled. We have the Nope trailer. Some Moon Knight episode 5, and then finally the unbearable weight of massive talent
Yep.
is coming your way. But first, we got a Muncher minute. Let's roll the Muncher minute. So you got the link pulled up?
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
No worries. I'll read it off. So I found this on this subreddit. Damn, that's interesting. And it's when you think of the pyramids, the Great Pyramids of Giza, rather, you think of large, sprawling desert. This is an angle not often seen, and apparently the pyramids are less than 10 kilometers, or about 3 miles and some change away from the closest city, Giza. Now this photo, I was doing some sleuthing on the maps, and this photo isn't exactly the perspective of Giza, but it is accurate in that there's just everything is right next to it. Usually, especially like in Moon Knight or any media, you'll just see that angle to the right with the desert and the 3 pyramids or whatever, and you just think, wow, what a wasteland! Like, how do people even get there?
Yeah, it looks so barren.
Yeah. But boom, civilization's right there. I was reading some comments, and apparently there's like a Pizza Hut like 300 feet from the Sphinx. So I was like, wow, that's trippy. It's always weird to see like these like modern marvels or whatever of like, ancient architecture, even like Greek stuff, and it's like, yeah, there's a McDonald's right down the road. It's so weird.
Yeah.
But people were arguing, back in the day there was like little taverns and huts and food nearby. What's the difference? And I was like, yeah, it's just weird seeing modern stuff like that.
Right.
But I thought
Yeah,
this was
like
a cool angle.
to a lesser extent, like the Alamo next to
Right,
like
to
all
like
the
Ripley's Believe It or Not,
Yeah.
and like all this weird commerce and
Mhm.
shopping center. It is weird. I don't think of it like that, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's the same thing.
Mhm.
That's so bizarre.
Just even further back in
Yeah,
period
and
history.
the history of humanity, if you would.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was a cool little thing, and I'll make sure to throw it up on screen so everyone else can see it. But that's my Muncher minute. Should we get into the news?
Yeah.
So I'll start us off with this little article from I believe it was Polygon. And long story short, it reads, in further unsurprising sequel news from this week's film industry convention, CinemaCon, which a lot of news came out of.
Yeah,
a lot of news. But it's confirmed that they will make a sequel to The Batman, starring, of course, Robert Pattinson, and director Matt Reeves is coming back. And I'm assuming the usual suspects are all coming back in terms of actors and the universe and
I
all
think
that.
they listed off Zoe Kravitz as well.
Yeah.
And I'm sure
everyone else is coming back.
Oh, what's his name? Jeffrey Wright
Oh yeah,
and Andy Serkis.
everybody.
They're probably coming.
Everyone's probably coming back. Big money to be made, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, Reeves confirms he's excited to jump back into this world for the next chapter. What do you think that should be? Anything you want to see in particular?
I mean, a lot of fans want like Mr. Freeze.
That would be nice.
The ending kind of set up Joker and the Riddler.
I don't know how excited I am for Joker.
Not that, I mean, Matt Reeves did say that that's not his plan per se. He just kind of put that in there.
Sprinkling it in there.
Yeah.
Maybe one day.
Like build out the universe.
I don't think they should jump right for it. I think they should save Joker for a minute. Like, if not the third movie, then maybe a fourth one if they're going to.
I mean, I am interested in Barry Keoghan's portrayal of him, but I think having a different villain, maybe have like the Scarecrow and like make him a bigger focus.
Sure.
Like I don't know, something different, because even though he was in what was it, Batman Begins.
Yeah, it was more of like it wasn't a huge.
Yeah, he wasn't.
He's there.
Yeah, he was like ancillary.
Yeah, very much a side piece. You know what I mean?
So if they want to keep it grounded, which I'd like for them to go a little more supernatural.
Yeah,
because I think that would be kind of cool. I mean, maybe they could do like Court of Owls. It's supposed to be a big storyline that they kind of hinted at as well.
Yeah, I've seen some brief animated representation of that. It seemed cool, seemed interesting. If they want to stick with like realism and like that gritty underworld and like the whole secret society thing, that would be a slam dunk if they want to stay in that realm. I really struggle to see how they're gonna go supernatural, because everything they've done to this point with this universe seems so grounded in reality and like
right.
I think I remember someone was saying that there's no way Superman could be introduced in this world.
Yeah, I think at this point, yeah, but I think they can like work up to it if that's what they wanted to do.
Sure.
Like, kind of think back to Iron Man, how that felt really grounded, and then slowly they kind of hinted at like how supernatural the world actually was.
Now, if we're getting into an expanded cinematic universe, if they're making this their base, New 52, if you would, or something, that would be interesting. It doesn't, to me, seem like that's the direction they're headed. But if they built up from it, like you said, that would be very surprising.
Because they could do like a sequel where Batman's traveling, and he's like on his martial arts journey, because that's something that they haven't really touched on.
Sure.
With this one, and maybe that's like the center focus, and it's like Ra's al Ghul or something. They hint at the Lazarus Pit, stuff like that. And they might like make it a little more supernatural, or they could like that way.
They just got to go global with it. Just get him out of Gotham. You know? He's paid his dues. He can do other stuff. We'll see. But yeah, that was that. You want to bring up the next article, big man?
Yeah. So Spider-Man has been edited by Britain's ITV to remove controversial I guess homophobic joke that was made by Peter in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It says here, Variety reports, British television network ITV aired Sam Raimi's 2002 superhero classic Spider-Man. The network removed a joke in the movie deemed by many viewers over the years as blatantly homophobic. The line that they took out was, "That's a cute outfit. Did your husband give it to you?"
I don't know.
And yeah, it is.
That's a little.
It is very.
It's a little bit of a stretch. I mean, I get where some people out of context may be coming from that. But like, first of all, the movie is from 2002. That culture, that weird wrestling WWE culture, was very much trash talking. They said, I would argue they've said worse if you want to be really nitpicky about it. Like IRL.
Yeah, wrestling. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, and this is obviously something like he's playing a part in a movie. He's just throwing out like a line just to get into.
He's also like a very brash, a little arrogant of a kid at that point.
Yeah, I mean.
So it makes sense for the character, and I don't think it makes sense enough to cut it out, because it's just like one line.
Yeah, and why are we changing? Like, and then it gets in the.
I could understand why a TV network would want to do something like that, but I don't know that that's the right thing to do, is to edit. Maybe just like put a warning. Like,
yeah,
you may find some lines like
offensive.
Offensive.
Yeah, but then it's like, should we like clean up all of history because it's offensive? Like, it happened, right? If you don't like it, don't watch it, or at least put up a warning. Like, as Disney's had to do with some of their older cartoons that people find offensive. It's like, well, that's for me to decide. You know what I mean? Like, if I don't like it, I just won't watch it. You know, or I don't know. It just seems weird how we're like, I don't know. We're changing people's work for the sake of maybe saving a few feelings. It's really weird.
I mean, we could just watch it on DVD if we had it, or another TV network that has that one.
I know, but
it's a big deal.
It's not a huge deal, but it's an interesting topic because it becomes that conversation of like, you know, who are we getting our not only our information but like our content from, and like, you know, is it being shaped to say or not say certain, just in general. You know what I mean? Why am I not getting the full picture? Why are you deciding for me what's appropriate, not appropriate?
Right.
Like, I don't know. It's interesting. It's a little demeaning to some audience members, but I get you're trying to protect some people's feelings, and I don't know. It just doesn't seem. I don't see it. I don't see the.
Yeah, I definitely think like a warning.
Yeah.
Would be enough.
I think.
But I don't know.
Yeah. It's a tricky one.
It's not really my place.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you're allowed to have a thought on it. What are we gonna do? We need to challenge that one little network? No. But
no,
it's interesting.
It's not a big deal. I still have them. It does make me kind of want to rewatch it though. like not like in a
payback kind of way, or
payback kind of way, but like just because I'm interested to get back into like what that 2002 Spider-Man felt like.
It was a different
feeling. It was a good movie.
It was fun. No, I mean, I still keep up all the Raimi memes, so there's a whole subreddit dedicated to it. You love it. It's fantastic. Yeah. But we'll take a small break, and then we'll get into that Nope trailer. How's that sound?
Yeah.
Sounds good. All right. Good. Nice. I remember seeing that trailer for the first time in movies with you. Yeah. And I was like, okay, message about black people. Okay, Hollywood. Okay. Oh, it's taking a turn from Jordan Peele. And I was like, there it is. And I was like, let's do it. I'm ready for it. But upon watching it a second time, it seems to be like it's got to be aliens, right? Right?
I think so.
They're looking up, and it looks like a saucers above them, and something goes wrong. And I wonder how far into it we're gonna go with that horror element, because this man loves horror, and I'm not a fan of horror, so like I'm really adverse to that kind of movie. But I don't know. I'm tempted to see it because I'm like, Such a genius though. Maybe I have to see it. I'll just look with like one eye. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's cool. That's a really good trailer in that like it doesn't give you much to go off of, but it
Mhm.
gives you just enough to be interested. I really like that trailer.
Yeah,
Um,
really. He's good at like building suspense,
Oh yeah,
and
110%.
I feel like that's what you get out of this trailer is like all a bunch of questions and not
Not many
really have a
answers.
lot
Yeah. I
to go off of.
I like how the whole thing is they're the longest generation of like Hollywood horse, uh, I don't know, farmers, breeders, trainers, whatever,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of them running away from like aliens on horses on this. I'm like, you're not gonna get very far on a horse, my guy. Like,
Yeah.
I doubt with a car either. I don't know what the end game of this is. Does everyone just die? Do they fight him? But like, what does it turn into?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, because what was it called?
What, Get Out?
No, the one after that he made.
Us?
Us.
Yeah, I didn't see
Yeah,
that one
and
either.
that one, the conclusion didn't.
Spoiler alert. Go ahead.
It wasn't like it wasn't as strong of a conclusion as Get Out. This story being like more as supernatural as it is, there's a lot more routes that they can go in.
I wonder if it's gonna turn into a Quiet Place situation. I mean, I doubt it, that's the crux of the aliens.
Oh, where it just
Where,
kind of
like it just turns into
yeah,
dystopia.
it just like happened.
Yeah,
just did.
here we are. You know,
Yeah.
they're like the surviving crew, and they have to do something like that.
Mm.
But I don't know. I don't think with aliens that's a common route to go.
Yeah,
We'll see.
Yeah. I wonder like how much commentary it's gonna be and how much of just like any other story.
I don't know how you can mend the two. I mean, I'm sure he'll figure it out, but I don't see the angle from this trailer.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, are aliens racist? We'll find out in this movie. I don't know. We'll see. But in that, I guess we should just get into Moon Knight, huh?
Yeah.
Let's do it. All right. So Moon Knight episode 5. Finally, I said some answers, but also more questions, but many answers.
I got a lot of questions.
I cannot wait for you to ask them. There's a great bit a little foreshadowing at the top, you know, just a little tip, a little sprinkle of what's going on with Mark's past. We don't know it at the time, but it's there. But I'm loving this weird psych ward with like Dr. Harrow and all this continuing of gaslighting and you know, what's going on, Mark? Did like the chicken and egg situation, did you make Steven to help you or did Steven make you to help him? Like all this just playing with the audience. I loved it. It was great. And even the little boy, quote unquote, gets brought up by Dr. Harrow.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting how this trigger is all made sense of like by later in the game, in the episode.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. I mean, what are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, I mean, it kind of like makes you wonder how much of Arthur Harrow, like how much does he actually know, and like how much is it, like is it Mark's subconscious that is creating him,
right?
Or is Arthur Harrow actually there and in some kind of way knows all of this information that he's
like spitting at him? Yeah, and where is there? Because if he was shot, if the body that is Mark is dead, where are we? Are we like in the last synopsis of his brain firing off? Are we in an afterlife as Tarawet, the hippo goddess, describes it?
Yeah.
Like, where are we exactly? And we keep hopping between realities. It's really interesting. I love the mind games that play here. So I'm happy to see we get to see like the trippy Duat, as it's called, the Egyptian underworld. And again, we get to meet the hippo, formerly Tarawet, I believe, the goddess of women and children. And again, she's guiding him through an afterlife. Aro or Aru, wherever that place they're selling to is the Field of Reeds. Kind of like the good place, the good, if your soul's balanced, the scales balanced, you get to go to the good place. If not, the sand demons eat you and you're just stuck in the sands of time forever. She also name drops the ancestral plane, which is interesting because I keep hearing rumblings of us perhaps meeting a panther god soon outside of the Black Panther lore. Because apparently there was a Black Panther god amongst the Egyptian gods.
Right, yeah, I think it was because there was Boss, right?
Yeah.
From Black Panther, and then I think it was like a lion.
I think
something
so.
Like that. But yeah, they both descended from the Egyptian
like pantheon of gods. Or whatever.
Yeah. And like they
went on to their own thing.
Yeah, went on to Africa.
I love it. I love them branching out. You know, throwing your seeds across the world. That's what's up. But after we learn the crux of this episode lies in the two personalities reconciling with each other, things go off. I mean, we have Mark and Steven touring through each other's memories, even though it's mostly Mark's. We learn many things, like Mark's killed many people under Khonshu. Kind of knew that. Most importantly, Steven is visiting the flashbacks of Mark's childhood, and like that's the whole thing of the episode. Like what happened, what made Mark the way he is, right?
Right.
And how he accidentally took his little brother to a cave when it was raining and couldn't save him from drowning is the long and short of what happened there. I love the foreshadowing in this episode, in the memory, and in the street, because it was like it was 100% on point storytelling. Like we'd see a little glimpse, we'd see like glints and glance of his mom, like in the psych ward in the door, just staring at him, and like his guilt eating him, and how he couldn't exactly be next to Steven as he's going through his memories, and he's not wanting, he doesn't want to drudge up the stuff from his past. He's dying not to do it.
Yeah, and at that point, we didn't even know like who that lady was.
Exactly. The second watch was so much better than the first. I mean, the first one was good, but the second one I was like, wow, this is crazy. Like,
because she was it was even that like short clip in the beginning where she was like screaming.
I had a feeling when I was watching it the first time that it might be her, but it was so quick. I was like, I don't know who's that lady yelling. Like, I don't know. So it was very, very on point. Long story short, his mom hates him, Mark, rather. Right. Because she believes Mark hated his younger brother from his birthday and intended to kill him. It's like Peacemaker, but like with less redneck. You know what I mean? There's some parallels there.
I saw that.
We get sidetracked and we learn the Moon Knight origin story, but to me that pales in comparison to the childhood trauma. Like we kind of already got most of that from the previous episodes. Like we kind of filled in the blanks ourselves. We didn't really need to see it. The only way I think it served a purpose was Steven calling out like Khonshu manipulating Mark, and like using him.
Seeing that scene.
Yeah, seeing it with like we didn't need to see it, but I liked Steven seeing it because he wasn't there for that, right? So I enjoyed him calling that out, and I think Mark argues he's always been a bad boy though, so we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But that's interesting how he's
that's his perspective, right?
That is his perspective
because of the trauma that he's had.
Exactly. And that's why I'm thinking like, is he gonna come to grips with that or not? What's the dynamic if he gets Khonshu back? Like, is it gonna be a different dynamic, or what's the deal? Because he still needs to be freed.
Right. Yeah. And I think we kind of get a hint of a what do you call it, like emotional closure for him.
Yes, we do.
Where Steven, who is in and of itself like him.
Yeah.
He was able to see the truth for what it was.
Right.
That Mark wasn't responsible for the death of his brother.
Yeah.
And him telling him that was a self-realization for Mark.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it is him.
It is him, but it's a different part of him. It's very compartmentalized, and it's a whole other being.
Yeah.
But no, that was wonderful, and you're spot on about that. So yeah, it was a great. Okay, like I had this written here, like Steven finally seeing how. Okay, we're jumping around, but let me get right back to it. Yes. After that, we see the pivotal scene, right? Like they're dancing around it the whole episode, and then we finally see where like essentially Steven is born, right? At least for our intents and purposes, and seeing how he was created as a coping mechanism for dealing for his abusive mother was wild. Like I didn't expect him to like do that transformation from such a young age, and like how the writing was literally on the wall with the poster, the Stephen Grant poster, and the Tomb Raider or whatever it was, Tomb Busters, and how like he just kind of had to deal with that and like just get beaten. He's like, see, I didn't want you to see that.
Yeah,
just that whole realization, and then he lets it slip that his mom's dead, and Steven doesn't know that. So now Steven has to reconcile with all of that. And then we get pulled back into Dr. Harrow's office because he opened up to him like Dr. Harrow asked. And I'm like, what is going on here? This is crazy. And apparently they had a past too within this reality. He's like, I didn't know if I was going to see you again, Steven. He's like, you're a doctor now.
Yeah, it really like overcomplicates. Like, everything. Are we actually seeing the true backstory of Mark? Or is this all a construct of some kind?
That's what I'm saying. Is it a construct or are we actually at a psych ward in Chicago, Illinois? Like, what is going on here? Like, I don't know. But
I mean, it's probably not in Chicago.
Probably not.
I don't think.
But I love the gaslighting. So I'm saying I appreciate the doubt that's being sowed by Dr. Harrow. Whether that's really him by some sort of magic, or if that's actually like how badly messed up Mark is, that he assumes that he's being kept. They're like there's someone's keeping him or something like that.
I also like the towing of the line of how they presented Mark transforming into Steven, and how it still felt like the superhero, like sort of like power change.
Sure.
But it was still based in the trauma, so it was still not like overzealous with the amount of like
they're not overhyping it in your opinion?
Yeah, they're not like overhyping the transformation.
Yeah, it's actually gotten more subtle. It's like less dramatic now. It's more of just like this is something that happens. It's just a gear shift for him. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Really interesting. we got to see at one point, and this is what I'm getting to. Um, I like what blew my mind again was when Dr. Harold confronts Steven with the truth, and he's like, "Yeah, you want like he's going along with what he's saying. He's like, oh, of course, like your mom's alive. She's not dead. I didn't mean to let that slip. Let's call her." And he like confronts the truth. He makes him confront the truth.
That's
literally.
such a dick move.
But I know. Tell me about it. Like, but he literally forces him to come to grips with reality. No, but it was crazy though. Yeah, of course. But I was like, whoa, like that was pretty straight up. And then Steven comes to that realization. I'm like, bruh, that's so sad.
Yeah.
And then what broke me, unsurprisingly, was the breakdown Mark has after not having the strength to go to his own mom's memorial. Because we get again flashback or flash forward, however you want to see it, to that little glimmer of him on the street. And he was drinking, and the memorial's there. His dad's like, come inside. He's like, nah, I'm good. And he breaks down, he cries, and then again he shifts into Steven. But what's different about this time is that happened 2 months ago, according to Mark's calendar, and that was the first time their lives started to bleed over into each other.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the two weren't separate anymore. So that's kind of their origin story together, even though they had one in the past. You know what I mean?
Right. So, as to why like he came back.
Right. I guess, exactly. Right. And I guess why maybe, and that's why that explains why Mark left without a word when Layla calls him. Like, where have you been? I've been calling you,
it was probably like literally that moment.
Yeah. And they just took off
to London.
That's crazy. He got set up pretty quick with a job and a place to live.
Yeah.
He got set up pretty quick. Interesting.
He is a mercenary though, so I mean maybe he had
like a safe house kind of thing. Okay, all right.
He did have that
little bunker thing.
Yeah, that bunker. Although maybe he set that up then,
prior,
like after.
We'll see. I'm sure he's well connected, like you said. I'll give him an excuse.
Maybe.
But yeah, like you were saying, Steven gives Mark again some much needed closure and acceptance about his trauma. But it's not official until the undead souls of the Duat straight up box our heroes. Like they're on the boat, they're getting lit up left and right. Of course, Steven's the more mild-mannered one. He's like, well, you got this. Like, I believe in you. And he's like, wait, no, I got this too. If I'm you. And then again, he ends up joining the battle and then ends up sacrificing himself to save Mark. I was like, wow, that's crazy. I like it. I like what I'm seeing here.
Yeah, which also makes you think that Mark is the true personality.
Well, I kind of feel like they were that way from the start. I feel like they stopped. Unless there's something I'm not seeing. This whole episode was constructed to confirm what I thought was simulating the truth, that Mark was the original. Now,
well, yeah, but I also think like the amount of levels deep how they're going with breaking reality, it almost leaves a bit of a door open where they can still say like maybe because there's a character or a third personality, Jack, he's like a taxi driver. Right. In the comics.
In the comics, there's like 6 or so.
Yeah, and so they've been kind of hinting at a possible third personality. And maybe that one created Mark, or maybe Steven created that one.
Yeah, you're tripping me out.
And now. So it could go in so many different ways. Who knows if?
But we're not ready for that.
Like how much of what we're seeing is even true.
That's true. But the scales don't lie, do they? We'll see.
Scales don't lie.
But why don't you pull out like 3 hearts? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. Yeah. We'll see. But I see what you mean. That's very exciting. If they do decide to go that way, it will trip me out because I won't know what reality is after that. After we get like no, these guys were all fake the whole time. There was a third one. It was me. I don't know. That's gonna trip me out. But in the end, like we said, Mark ends up getting saved by Steven and was thrown overboard, right? And it seems like he's no more, but the scales are balanced, and Mark is now in the field of reeds, and I feel like there's got to be a way to bring him back. You're not gonna have just one personality. Like that's the whole thing in the comic, right? Like either in the next episode he gets Khonshu back, and then somehow it floods his mind. He has all the other ones come out as a result of it, or maybe they were just put away, like you said, and like they were always there. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. But it's interesting to see how his mind was always like this, you know, childhood. So I don't know what's next. The finale, man. It's the big 6, man. What are we doing? What are we doing here?
Well, they're definitely having a giant laser.
I was gonna say giant laser in the sky. All right, that's what's up. As long as they have that, I'll be golden. I'll be great. I'm so ready for it. Do you think we're gonna see the other big gods get into it, like a big showdown with?
I'd like to see Amit.
Yeah.
See, because you
can't not have
them
Amit
up so much.
You hype them up way too much.
Yeah.
You gotta have Amit show up.
But I don't know. Maybe we still got to see how he gets back into Khonshu's control or whatever. Like how
it seemed that there was a small line that I overlooked, but it seemed that didn't Mark ask Terawet, the hippo goddess, to like ring someone. They're using like Orion's portal to get.
Yeah.
I think he asked for her assistance in getting Khonshu back, or at least the statue or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if he snaps the statue and like Khonshu comes back. I don't know the rules here, but
I would think.
I think they're on a
like
quest
that,
to
right?
get him back. They're probably gonna do that in the beginning of the next episode.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I'm sure that's gonna be like the first
Few minutes.
10,
Yeah,
20.
for sure. So I think that's definitely what's happening. I'm gonna take a little sip, and then we'll get into the unbearable weight of massive talent.
Yeah.
There it is, the unbearable weight of massive talent, starring Nick Cage, Pedro Pascal, and others.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just set this up for people who have or haven't even seen it, because this is something we gotta set the plate here. Unfulfilled and facing financial ruin, actor Nick Cage accepts a $1 million offer to attend a wealthy fan's birthday party. Things take a wildly unexpected turn when a CIA operative recruits Cage for an unusual mission. Taking on the role of a lifetime, he soon finds himself channeling his most iconic and beloved characters to save himself and his loved ones. First things first, I would love to hear Abed from Community's like take on this whole movie, because I don't know if you've seen that show.
No.
But it's hilarious. You should watch it. There's a character called Abed who's obsessed with the idea and like the work of Nicolas Cage, and he's like, is he a genius or is he crazy? Because he'll give you his whole thesis and like every movie he's been in, and it was a crazy episode. I gotta show you.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. He's like a super fan in a way.
Okay.
And I think that's the point, is that this movie is crazy, and super fans of Nick Cage will love or hate it. I don't know. I'm pretty sure they'll love it though. It seems like a celebration of it. This movie is crazy. To me, the best way I could describe it as a satirical / like meta take on writing a movie, about pitching a movie, about making a movie with a larger than life version of Nick Cage.
Yeah.
It's bizarre. It's out there. It's bananas. I mean,
Yeah.
did you have any ideas going into this about how it would be? Or
I mean, I knew it was about Nick Cage, and I knew it was supposed to be like meta.
Sure.
But I feel like I needed more context to actually enjoy it.
Yeah, I felt the same way.
Going into it, I didn't know how involved Nick Cage was, and you had told me that he actually was a little reluctant at first in choosing the role.
We'll get into that. Yeah.
And so for me, it just kind of felt a little too narcissistic at times.
Sure.
But I also understand, like, in order to get that meta, they had to sort of lean into that a bit.
Sure.
And make him a larger than life character.
Right. Yeah.
Than he actually is.
I'll get into that some more too. For me, this like another bizarre thing is that this movie sits in a weird middle ground to me between like good and bad, because as you were saying, like I feel like I needed more context to appreciate everything, because there's jokes and there's Easter eggs in there. There's plenty of it, plenty of that. And it feels like several different movies all in one. Like it feels like it could have been like some sort of mini series or something, because it was just all over the place. Like every like 20, 30 minutes, I was like, what are we doing now? This is weird.
Yeah.
And
jumping between drama, like,
and comedy, and like
movie, like high budget action.
Yeah, versus like indie, like experimental, weird, down to earth.
And like really
crazy.
corny jokes with like small actors.
Yeah, we'll get into that too. That it's so like the long and short of it is that it starts off with him like, you know, in his narcissistic state. He's not getting many roles. He's down on his luck. He's financially, he's down bad. You know, Patrick Harris is like, my man, as your manager, like you need to take this gig. Oh, you don't want to take the gig? That's cool too. And then he has like a little falling out with his daughter at a birthday party because he wants to be the center of attention. Yada yada yada. He's like, I'm gonna quit acting, and then he's like, no, never mind. I need this money. Like, let me go on that birthday party. And he was like, all right, cool, we'll set it up. Doesn't get the script, and the whole shtick is that Pedro Pascal's character Javi is like this super rich, like assumed to be Spanish, like from Spain, like Spanish drug dealer or something, super wealthy or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's just a mega fan of Nick Cage. He adores this man, and he wrote a script and he wants him to star in it or whatever. And just from the minute he steps off the plane and actually gets to like the boat or wherever where Javi's taking him to his place, it's freaking comedy gold, the two of them. I love those two together.
I kind of miss, or I kind of wish that they didn't put that moment in the trailer, because I had seen it so much by that point that it kind of took a little bit out of my enjoyment of that scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, they, like from the start you can feel the strength of their chemistry and how well they work together.
Fantastic. Yeah.
And yeah, Pedro Pascal is the best part of this movie.
Yeah, hands down. He's killing it. I love it. We'll get into him in a second. But but like the humor mostly works for me, but it shifts tonally many times. Like I've said, I didn't like the only part I liked with those CIA characters, like Tiffany Haddish and that other dude.
Yeah.
The only part was like when I'm getting off the plane and the cruise moment. Like that was funny. But then the rest of the movie, they just kind of felt like shoehorned in for the sake of like stakes and like the CIA mission. Like I didn't I didn't
Yeah,
care
see,
about them.
so like
They
I didn't even understand the Croods reference.
Oh,
Nick
so
Cage is in that
he
movie?
voices the Ooga
The dad?
Booga dad. Yeah,
Okay,
the
see, that's
caveman
what I
dad
figured, but see that like it was those kind of references
that
where
you
it's
didn't
like
get. Yeah.
I just couldn't follow what they were talking about.
Sure. Yeah, like I said, if you're a mega fan, you've seen everything
Right,
he's ever done, you'll love it, right? It's just like
right.
the big No Way Home or whatever for his references.
Right.
It is.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
that's fantastic, but it's man, those CIA those agents were just they weren't it the rest of the movie, and then they ended up just getting shot. And like,
hmm
why are y'all even here? This is
Yeah,
dumb.
that guy from Suicide Squad just kind of dies in the background.
Yeah,
You don't even see his death.
it doesn't matter. That's how much they don't matter. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. The movie just switches gears a lot. But like going back to Pedro Pascal, he's living the dream. I'm here from it. His role seems freaking awesome to play. It was
Yeah.
amazing to watch. Um, I love that by the end, the bromance they had the entire movie was proved to be genuine, and that like the whole fake out was that his cousin was the actual guy who kidnapped the prime minister's daughter of wherever,
Yeah.
and there's a whole hostage situation and all that. Like, and I'm happy that like the romance they had was like real throughout because
hmm
there was so many great moments between the two of them. Like Javi trying to stop Nick from quitting acting, like by doing that whole like weird monologue from one of his movies, I'm sure. Or no, it wasn't even from one of his movies. I think he was just play acting.
Oh,
And Nick
okay,
Cage was
yeah.
like, "What are you doing?" And then
Right.
he's like, "You can't quit acting. Like, come on, take it." Like, he was basically inviting him to play with him, and he
Right.
did. He jumped for it, and then they jumped off that cliff. They didn't know how high it was. That was great.
Yeah.
The LSD trip was fantastic. That was just so much fun.
Yeah.
That was such a pleasure to watch. And them just being paranoid and like they're watching it. He's like
Right,
laughing
right.
at him like a crazy maniac. The wall scene, which again I wish they didn't do that to death in the trailers because that was actually really funny too.
hmm
I saw that and like
but it did make more sense that they were on LSD for that joke to work because
Yeah.
in the trailer it didn't work.
yeah,
But in
trailer
the
was
movie,
weird.
with the context of them being on it, like,
Yeah.
yeah,
It totally worked.
yeah, it
I
was
was
a
with
lot funnier.
So I already talked about the Easter eggs. Okay, a standout / weird part was the Nikki alternate ego to
Yeah,
Nick Cage's, whatever modern day personality.
yeah,
This de-aged Nick Cage and what he would see as like him in his prime was really interesting because the whole movie he's like in his head like you're the best, don't settle for less, like come on man, don't be a piece of shit, like get those roles and whatever. And I was like, where are we going with this? It's like, it was so weird because it was thrust onto us so soon, but I kind of liked it. I was like, this is really bizarre. And by the end of it, it ends up being like a character moment. He has to like stand up to his former self, and like
Right.
so that kind of worked for me at the end, like with the whole like you're not a hero, like you're gonna get yourself killed, like get out of here. And
yeah.
that was
It's
really
almost like
interesting.
him fighting his ego.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that worked for me. I like that man versus self stuff. So
Mhm.
that was cool.
CGI was kind of weird.
that
but
was a
I
little
feel
wonky.
like they almost purposely wanted it to be
Bad
a bit
or like uncanny.
not a bit uncanny just for the fact that like the in and out of them going high budget low budget with
Sure, with the
movie
set pieces. And
yeah
whatever
the
they were
set pieces
doing.
and everything, like it kind of added to the weirdness of
It
the
did.
Nick Cage movie, I guess.
There was a
I don't
charm
know.
to it, I'd say. Like it was kind of
Yeah.
like purposely not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't.
Maybe.
But it's fine. Like it was only uncanny enough for me to be like, it kind of looks weird. But then like
Yeah.
the acting was fine, so I didn't mind it.
Yeah, it's Nick Cage.
It's Nick Cage. I mean,
Yeah.
what do they call it? Nouveau shamanic acting. That was such a
Yeah.
weird thing for him to call it. Let's dive into that a little bit.
Right.
He referenced the art of acting, if you would, as like something that's been going on for generations, which it has in many forms. And he was like, "We're almost modern day shaman." He's like, he was real like Keanu Reeves about it. I was like, "What do you mean? Come on, Nick Cage!" Like he's super like into that and that existential and the spiritualism. And I was like, that's kind of crazy that's how he describes his acting method. I think someone asked him on an interview. He was like, "What's your method?" He was like, "Whichever one works." And I was like, "What the fuck?" Okay. And then I think he went into the Novo shamanic thing. I think I think
Okay.
I'm remembering that right.
That's
Um,
interesting. It's like a level below or above of what is it called?
what?
Of what does Jared Leto do? He does
Oh.
method acting.
Oh, method. Yeah.
Yeah. What would you say? Is that like less or more?
It depends on what you mean by less, because I don't know. The way I understand it, method acting is like doing and it's like literally being the person, right? So if they
Right.
kill people, you're gonna kill people, like literally in real life.
Yeah.
So I would call method like the most extreme, depending on what the role calls for. As far as what Nick Cage does, I don't even know what the hell he does, to be honest with you. Nouveau shamanic, that doesn't mean anything to me. Like I don't know if he's drawing on like Stanislavski or I don't know what his acting technique is, but
Uh-huh.
it works. I don't know, I guess. So
Sort of.
sort of,
I
yeah.
guess.
It depends on the role. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's interesting. But one thing that was less enjoyable as time went on is the self-referencing. Like it's as if they didn't know exactly how to end the movie, like literally, but then chose the path that would satisfy the most audiences. And it's like we're talking about. They called it out, and that doesn't necessarily make it okay.
Right.
It's just kind of like, yeah, we know this elephant's in the room. What are you gonna do about it? You know what I mean? I was just like, okay. And what really kind of was bizarre is how the ending. First of all, a knife catch. No way, Josue. Like he was definitely catching the blade, but whatever. He catches the hilt. He stabs the guy, right? And then they turn, and what threw me off, and what could have been really powerful or really bad, depending on how they went with it, was how the women that were meeting him weren't literally his in-movie wife and daughter and like that other girl, right? It was like actresses. And I was like, holy crap, is this like a Moon Knight situation where like this is what he's seeing in his head because he thinks his life is a movie? Like, has he snapped? What's going on here? And then we pull out, and they're in the theater. And they literally just made the movie about the movie we just watched. And I was like, what the fuck just happened? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I guess it's a bit of both in that way, right? Like, it is kind of his interpretation of reality as well as...
I mean, maybe. I thought it wasn't going to go that way because of his little fighting with Nikki at the end and him overcoming that.
I mean, yeah, I guess in a way, but also throughout the movie, it felt like they were leaning into... like the big movie moments being his interpretation of his life.
Oh, I see. That's true because they even had that heart to heart at the table with his wife and his daughters. Like,
yeah,
we want to talk about what you want to talk about, and it's all about your movies and this and that. And I don't know. It's interesting.
So
maybe they could be both.
Could be both.
I don't know.
But yeah, it was very weird, like how that was also his movie that they were making.
So bizarre. He's like, what? Because even Javi calls it out. He's like, what if the movie was about us, our relationship, this? I was like, bro, we're watching that movie. What are you doing to me?
Yeah, it's funny how that, like, he gave him that idea, but Nick Cage is supposed to be spying on him, so it's kind of like playing into his whole, like, what he's supposed to be doing for the government.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, there's several parts of the movie where I'm like, are we just watching a screen, like a room of writers, like just like throwing shit out and like, yeah, here, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and then he could reference that, and I'm like, what is going on here? It's crazy.
Yeah.
But overall, the film was a celebration, as many people describe it, of Nick Cage, and I think it's a tongue-in-cheek laugh about all things Nick Cage. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And at least how someone on the outside perceives him, at least, because even he said in the interviews, like, he doesn't see himself like this. He's like way more chill. He's not this crazy and neurotic. And the producers or the writers or whatever were like, no, neurotic Cage is the best Cage. Okay, whatever. And like I was saying in the interviews, he originally didn't want to do it. And it also, there was a part that got cut out because it was too weird for audiences, and I kind of wish they did it. It would have been more like an Everything Everywhere All at Once thing, where that whole movie they were talking about like, I think it's the right movie, that whole like German thing from 100 years ago that he was trying to show his daughter. Yeah. Apparently they did a sequence similar to what happened in that movie, I guess, where it was like Nick Cage going through all the weird periods of all the movies he's been in like kind of like reenacting stuff and characters he was from there, and like this weird sequence. And apparently that was too trippy for audiences to cut that.
Huh.
Yeah, it was weird.
Maybe a bonus scene. I don't know.
Maybe. I hope they... I kind of want to see it. He said it was a favorite thing they shot. And another thing that drew him to it, once he found out that it was a celebration, that Cage was not this weird, like, complete mockery of it, was the Nikki thing. That whole alter ego thing that actually really sold him on that, which was interesting. I'm glad that he at least enjoyed that.
Okay.
That was interesting. But he didn't want to do it. He just thought it was going to be too weird. And it's still weird to him in interviews. He's like, so bizarre. He didn't want to watch it more than he had to. He had to watch it a few times because he had to play like the middleman between the producers and creatives and whatever.
Right.
It was interesting. But this whole experience was really weird.
But yeah, I bet for him it would be.
Yeah.
I mean, for anybody, right?
Like, for anyone.
Having a whole movie be about you and reference your whole entire
career
and
like a fictionalized take on your family too, because his real family is not even like that per se. That's weird. But I mean, I give it like a 6.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I give it like a 5.
That's fine. I understand where you're coming from. But for me, for as much odd stuff as it had, like there was nuggets of gold and humor. All the hobby stuff I just love.
Yeah. Pedro Pascal is what sold this movie for me.
For sure.
More than anything.
And like they wanted, everyone gets a little bit of something from it, you know.
Yeah.
A little bit. So we'll see.
A little bit.
We'll see. Well, that's The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Do you have any final thoughts on it? Or kind of a mindfuck? Not really.
It wasn't really a mindfuck. It was just kind of like a series of things that happened.
You heard it here first, folks.
I don't know.
No, it's a pretty good movie.
Like, It was jarring for the most part
Sure.
for me. Like it was just hard to like get into.
Sure.
And I think it had to do with the fact that they were leaning in so much to the Nick Cage references.
Sure.
So had I been a bigger fan of Nick Cage and seen like Face Off, and I mean I've seen Treasure Planet or National Treasure.
Sure.
And I've seen Ghost Rider, and I don't.
Yeah,
I don't like
they didn't
that
reference
really.
any of that once.
Yeah.
I mean, they referenced like Marvel and Star Wars movies being the only thing out, but then I don't know. And then they talked a lot of game about oh, it needs to be character driven. This needs to be that. Needs to be this. Needs to be that. And,
Right.
It was in some parts, but by the end of it, I was like, this just seems like.
I feel like it was more like plot driven.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
It was like, well,
It
this
was
and this
more
and that
just-
had to happen. By the end, it
Yeah.
felt a little bit empty, or like it left me wondering a little bit more from Nick Cage.
Yeah, I don't really think it gave you like how you should feel about Nick Cage,
Yeah.
right?
Just kind of like him coming to a better place, I guess. What he happened to him in the movie, literally.
Sort of, right?
He's like more of at peace with himself and his family. I don't know. I feel like they
Yeah.
skipped over all of that, and we're just like, all right, the movie got made. Just like, okay, but what about him and his life? Nope, movie got made. Pedro Pascal's character is too nervous to see it. All right, cool. I don't know. It was kind of weird. I don't know. They might have fumbled the ending a little bit. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe I'll watch all of his movies in the next 10 years, and then I'll come back to this. I'm like, I don't know. That's the
Yeah.
beautiful thing about Nick Cage. You don't know if he's a genius or if he's crazy.
Apparently, he was good in Pig. Have you
I
seen
heard that. I heard
Yeah.
good things about that. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I haven't
Maybe we'll check it out this summer. I don't know. Could be. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right. That's all we got today, man. For Media Munchers, I'm Mathian.
And I'm Agent.
Now get out of here.